Hello and welcome. Today, we embark on a journey together, a journey into the very heart of what it means to be human, to feel, and ultimately to grow. We're talking about fear, that familiar tremor, that quickening pulse, that shadow that can, if we let it, dictate the very course of our lives. But what if I told you that this very fear, the one that often holds us captive, also holds the key to unlocking a life of profound meaning and fulfillment? Today, we explore how to transform your life by facing your fears. Fear. It's a word that resonates deeply within each of us. It's a primal emotion, an evolutionary inheritance hardwired into our being. Think about it. That sudden jolt when you narrowly avoid a car, the surge of adrenaline when you hear an unexpected noise in the dark. This is physical, natural fear. It's our internal alarm system designed to protect us from immediate, tangible threats. It's the guardian that screams, "Danger!" and prepares our bodies for fight or flight. This fear is essential. It keeps us alive. But then there's another kind of fear, a more insidious and often chronic companion. This is the pathological fear, the anxiety that simmers beneath the surface, often born from the complexities of our social lives and the relentless voice of our inner critic. It's the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of stepping out of our comfort zone. This anxiety doesn't respond to a saber-toothed tiger. It responds to the perceived threats of rejection, embarrassment, or an uncertain future. It's the fear that whispers, "What if?" and paints 1,000 worst-case scenarios before we've even taken the first step. To understand this a little better, let's peek into the fascinating world of our brain just for a moment. You don't need a degree in neuroscience to grasp the basics. Deep within our temporal lobes lies a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as the brain's fear center. When we perceive a threat, real or imagined, the amygdala springs into action, triggering the release of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. This is what causes your heart to pound, your palms to sweat, and your mind to race. Simultaneously, the prefrontal cortex, the more rational thinking part of our brain, tries to assess the situation. Is this a genuine threat, or is it an overreaction? In cases of chronic anxiety or pathological fear, this balance can be disrupted. The amygdala might become overactive, or the prefrontal cortex might struggle to regulate the fear response, leaving us in a persistent state of unease. It's like the alarm system is stuck on high alert, even when the danger has passed or was never really there to begin with. Many great thinkers have grappled with the concept of fear. The American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson wisely stated, "Fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world." And he was right. How many dreams have been stifled, how many opportunities missed because of that paralyzing grip. Similarly, the French philosopher Michel de Montaigne observed, "He who fears he shall suffer already suffers what he fears." This speaks directly to the anticipatory anxiety that plagues so many. The suffering we inflict upon ourselves simply by dwelling on potential negative outcomes. Eleanor Roosevelt, a beacon of strength, famously urged us, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." The Indian philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti offered profound insights into the nature of fear. He taught that fear arises from thought, from our psychological attachment to the known, and our resistance to the unknown. Krishnamurti believed that true freedom comes from understanding the root of fear, from observing it without judgment, rather than trying to escape or conquer it. He suggested that fear is not separate from us. It is us in a sense. By understanding its mechanisms, its origins and our desire for security, and our fear of pain or loss, we can begin to loosen its hold. He encouraged a state of choiceless awareness where we simply observe the fear as it arises and passes, without identifying with it or being carried away by its narratives. So, we understand that fear is natural. We have a glimpse of what happens in our brains, and we've heard wisdom from those who've contemplated its depths. But how do we practically deal with those fears that limit us, especially the anxieties born from social pressures and self-doubt? This brings us to a powerful therapeutic strategy known as Paradoxical Intention, a cornerstone of Viktor Frankl's Logotherapy. Frankl, an Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor, developed logotherapy based on the idea that the primary human drive is not pleasure, as Freud maintained, or power, as Adler believed, but the discovery and pursuit of what we personally find meaningful. Paradoxical intention is a fascinating technique specifically designed to help people overcome obsessive-compulsive thoughts and, crucially for our discussion, anxiety and phobias. How does it work? In essence, you intentionally try to do or wish for the very thing you fear. It sounds counterintuitive, right? But there's a profound psychological shift that occurs. By deliberately inviting the feared symptom or situation, you remove the anxious anticipation and the desperate struggle against it. The fear is fueled by our resistance. When we stop fighting and, in a humorous or exaggerated way, even invite the worst, the fear often loses its power. Let's take an example. Imagine someone who has a debilitating fear of blushing in social situations. They dread meetings, parties, any scenario where they might feel scrutinized because they're terrified their face will turn beet red, leading to, in their mind, utter humiliation. Using paradoxical intention, this person, instead of trying desperately not to blush, would actively try to blush. Before entering a social situation, they might say to themselves, "Okay, today I'm going to try and blush more spectacularly than anyone has ever blushed before. I want my face to be the brightest, most vibrant shade of crimson imaginable. Let's see if I can make it glow." Another example. Someone with a fear of public speaking, terrified of their hands shaking. Instead of clenching their fists and trying to suppress the tremor, they might tell themselves, "All right, hands, let's put on a real show today. Let's shake so much that people think there's a minor earthquake. I'm going to aim for a standing ovation for the sheer intensity of my trembling." The humor and exaggeration are key. It creates psychological distance and helps to break the vicious cycle of fear leading to symptoms, which leads to more fear. By intentionally trying to bring on the feared response, the anticipatory anxiety diminishes, and often the symptom itself lessens or disappears because the underlying fear that feeds it is being diffused. You're taking the wind out of fear's sails. You are, in a sense, calling fear's bluff. We're delving deep into understanding and overcoming our fears, and I hope this is resonating with you. If you're finding this content valuable, if it's sparking new thoughts or offering a glimmer of hope, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps this channel grow, allowing us to continue producing these kinds of conversations. Please also feel free to share this video. Thank you. Your engagement truly makes a difference. Now, let's get back to our exploration. One of the most critical aspects of facing our fears, particularly those rooted in self-criticism and social anxiety, is understanding that our imperfections and our perceived defects do not define us. We live in a culture that often puts an immense pressure on appearing perfect, on having it all figured out. But the truth is, human beings are inherently imperfect. We all have flaws, we all make mistakes, and we all experience moments of fear and self-doubt. Think back to the example of giving a presentation. You might feel intense anxiety, your heart might race, your voice might quaver. You might fear stumbling over your words or not appearing knowledgeable enough. These feelings, these anxieties, are real. But they are not you. They are experiences you are having. What truly defines you in that moment and in life are your values and your actions in the face of that fear. It's the courage to step onto that stage despite the anxiety, because you believe in the message you want to share. It's your intention to connect, to inform, to inspire. It's the value you place on contributing, on sharing your knowledge, or on fulfilling a commitment. We are all, as the saying goes, in the same boat. Everyone experiences insecurity. Everyone has moments where they feel like an imposter. The person you admire for their confidence has likely battled their own demons of fear. The difference lies not in the absence of fear, but in the refusal to let fear have the final say. This is where we must learn to minimize the impact of external criticism and disregard comments that are merely desaboning, that aim to tear down rather than build up, and that ultimately reinforce the very fear behavior we are trying to overcome. Not all feedback is created equal. Constructive criticism, offered with respect and a genuine desire to help, can be invaluable. But personal attacks, dismissive remarks, or comments designed to undermine your confidence, those you have permission to discard. Your worth is not determined by the fleeting opinions of others, especially those who don't understand your journey or your intentions. Focus on your why, your purpose, and the values that guide you. Let that be your anchor when the storms of self-doubt or external negativity threaten to pull you under. And so, we arrive at the culmination of our journey today. How do we truly transform our lives by facing our fears? It comes down to a profound acceptance, a courageous embrace. The truth is, a life devoid of uncertainty is an illusion. To be alive is to be in a constant dance with the unknown. And it is precisely this uncertainty that gives rise to so many of our fears and anxieties. The path to a full, realized life, the path to truly finding yourself, is paved with the acceptance of this inherent uncertainty. It's about understanding that fear and anxiety will likely always be traveling companions, but they don't have to be the ones driving the car. You can acknowledge their presence, Listen to what they might be trying to tell you. Is there a real danger, or is it old programming? And then consciously choose your direction based on your values and aspirations. The true encounter with life, the genuine meeting with your authentic self, is an invitation to the unknown. It's about daring to step beyond the familiar, to venture into territories that scare you, because that is where growth happens. It's in those moments of facing your fear, whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, intimacy, or the unknown future, that you discover untapped reserves of strength, resilience, and courage you never knew you possessed. Each time you choose to act despite your fear, you are rewriting your internal narrative. You are proving to yourself that you are capable, that you are stronger than your anxieties. This isn't about eliminating fear entirely. That's not a realistic or even desirable goal. It's about changing your relationship with fear. It's about transforming it from a paralyzing barrier into a catalyst for growth, a signal that you are on the edge of something new and potentially wonderful. So I encourage you, I implore you to look your fears in the eye, acknowledge them, understand them, even use techniques like paradoxical intention to playfully disarm them. But do not let them dictate the terms of your existence. Embrace the messy, imperfect, uncertain, and breathtakingly beautiful journey of being human. For it is in facing our fears that we truly learn to live. It is there we find not only ourselves, but a life imbued with purpose, courage, and an ever-expanding sense of what is possible. The unknown is not something to be dreaded. It is the space where potential resides. Step into it. Your transformation awaits. Thank you for joining me on this exploration today. I sincerely hope this has offered you some valuable insights and perhaps a renewed sense of courage to face whatever fears may be holding you back. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please show your support by giving it a like and, most importantly, subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you help us grow, continue creating meaningful content like this, and reach more individuals who could benefit from these messages. Please also share this video with anyone you think might need to hear it. Until next time, be brave, be kind to yourself, and keep stepping forward.